connection. Man, my sciatica hurts. Or whatever this is. Buddy, hi. 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 Here, come underneath the blankets. Give me something. Have a cuddle. Yeah. Have a cuddle there. Hey, it's your paws caught, you stupid. Oh man, on a live stream too. This is the dumbest cat in the history. Well, there's no coming out of that one. You almost got like tied up backwards on a live stream in a blanket, bro. Like, so much for the story about you taking out a German Shepherd, eh, bud? Swaddle you? Strap you up and swaddle you? He has to be sitting on top of my face. I think he wants to watch cat TV, but I don't want him to. He's getting so addicted to cat TV, you know. forgot to tell you about the time I had an awkward date night. Man, it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago I had a date night. I'd like to thank David Jedidiah for joining our Tier 2 channel members. Who will be the next channel member? Who will be our first Tier 3 channel member today? Maybe we'll hit a Tier 4 channel member. The Alluvius Channel 5, Tier 5, Channel 5 channel member. If you're looking to become a channel member, there's a join button on my page. It's best to use a mobile device when joining a channel membership. But there is a way, if you're smart enough, there's a way to screenshot your TV with your phone, which makes no sense. Just sign into YouTube on your phone. You can super chat me, you can chat along with the show while it's going on. You can still watch the show on your big screen and then use your phone to do the live chatting. That's what I would recommend for everybody if you have a household watching. Today on the show we're just doing an awkward date night. And actually, I think I have to charge my phone. Thank God I checked. Man, this would make me so mad if the phone died before I could finish my date night story. I'll just wait for everybody to join in here. Tell me how awesome I am, right? Get a bit of a sleep stream into a 16% battery. So good thing I checked. Oh, you can't see Tigsby now. There he is. There's Tigsminder. That's my Tigsby. It's hard to actually see us from back there, eh? I can't see anything. Is that damn welcome to YouTube symbol came on the screen. Alright, you should be able to see Tigs. Let's go. Awkward date night story number 1. I got 50, maybe 60 of these stories. Thank you so much to everybody smashing the like, sharing the video. So awkward date night stories. I'm super thirsty. It really started coming out at the end. There. Well, I guess it all started. And which story am I going to tell? Some of my neighbors are like right outside right now, so I don't know. Buddy, there's no cat TV here. It's just a cat TV. So this is protein, greens, all kinds of vitamins. Oh, awkward date night. You want to get up in my business here? Come here. Come on in. Come on in. Come on. Get up in here. There's like vultures flying around over there. Like a couple blocks away. Like all the birds look like they've just absolutely lost their gourd. Like the birds are flying at each other. Like, should I be concerned? Like, is there an EMP pulse wave coming? Watch birds just start slamming into my window. Just like on the birds. Most of you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. I love that stuff. I've seen all the Alfred Hitchcocks. I've seen Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I've seen so many old shows, man. You can tell they dumbed down society though. The reset before this one, man, did they make people stupid, man. Like they had people watching black and white television with no sound. They're like, look how dumb we can make these people. Black and white, no sound. Let's go to the movies. The silver screen. Remember that? But yet, before that, thousands of years ago, you know, they had their own cities, their own power grid, their own pyramids, everything. They had wars. There were nuclear wars on Mars. And then what? We put us back to absolute Stone Age for the last couple of resets. I'm not sure, like, everything boils down to one word: vaginas. Technology, right? Vagina technology. One word hyphenated? Come on. No, seriously. Technology has decided the resets of history and the lack of us being allowed to have technology. Like, I look at fluorescent lighting and I think, what an ugly, ugly lighting system, you know? Now you got LED lights, you've got holograms, all these other varieties of lights. But fluorescent lighting, it's just the archaicness of fluorescent lights. Mercury vapor bulbs. This is archaic technology, but I'll give mercury vapor bulbs this: they are wicked compared to a fluorescent light bulb. Wicked. But, you know, I look at floodlights. Floodlights were so close to being LED lights, it's not even funny. So something in the 80s, you know, somebody released, or 70s or 80s, whenever floodlights were coming out. I'm not even sure what a floodlight actually is, besides probably it's halogen. So it's halogen tech. I could be wrong though. But man, you know, fluorescent lights are so hideous, you know. dial-up internet, you know, there's been fiber optic cables under the Atlantic sea floor, in the Pacific Ocean, for thousands of years. Thousands. 175 years they've known about underground seafloor fiber optic cables. But we had dial-up internet in 1999. About 180 years ago, they had fiber optic cables sending messages across the continent. So something isn't right. Something is not proper. And now, if you want to talk about, different words, we'll use a word density. In the term density, you can figure out everything that they tell you. You can use density and density's formula to realize that they are lying about everything up there. Everything. It all is based off density, gases, but it's a shame that the people at the top are the way they are. They talk about a shadow government. It's much, much bigger than that. It's not a government. It's a something, some shadow entity controls us entirely. It goes royalty, presidents, prime ministers, and everything else underneath. But it goes royalty, presidents, prime ministers, and then who's the richest person on earth? They have a lot of freedom on earth. So think about it like this. By design, whoever is at the top in the shadows creates somebody in the spotlight for you to follow, for you to watch their movies, for you to buy their clothes. This is how one person among us becomes a trillionaire, a billionaire, overnight. This dick invented, slime book. You got slime book, you got all these gross entities stealing people's lives. And if you say anything, they have your life in front of them on a hard drive. They can either delete it, they can rearrange it, they can give you a shit credit score, they can freeze your bank account. This is the world we live in right now. So if you think that this world is designed for you to be free, look around you right now. Can you travel to Antarctica? How come President Obama got to go to Antarctica? What business do royals have in Antarctica? What is there that why is there an Antarctic treaty that states you aren't allowed to travel there? It's forbidden. So there's ancient books, these Encyclopedia Britannica. They had those books destroyed. They had valued Encyclopedia Britannica down to $1 for the whole set. Everybody started throwing out their Encyclopedia Britannicas because somebody else told them to, because somebody else did it. Well, it turns out, if you scroll to the back of those books, which people wrote those books because of the facts that were in them, because they were fact-checked back then to see if they were good. Well, it turns out, if you scroll back to the section on Antarctica, it talks of the U.S. military the Navy traveling to Antarctica. And do you know what they uncovered? You know what they uncovered? A 1,500-foot high ice wall. Sky ice. That's what they called it. It has a name. Sky ice. Google it. Have you ever heard of a man named... Is it William Strait? Is a special name for this guy. But he was able to sail a ship through an area of this ice wall back in the day. This is all, of course, this is all fictional story, I'm telling you. Fuck. Everything has to remain fiction. This is how stories in the fiction section were forced into the fiction section because that's the only way the story could be told. Do you understand? I think his name was William Strait, but let me see. I don't think so, but I'll have to look. I can't remember now. I read about him the other day. I've heard this story 40 years ago or something. William Sound Strait, maybe? William Treaty, 1923. I'll go back to that in a second. But it's weird. It says the ice wall surrounds 95% of the Antarctic coast. You want to hear a fact about these ice walls? The entire coast of the ice wall is not one single complete wall. However, there are actually a series of 1,000-mile long walls divided by trans-Antarctic mountain ranges up to 11,500 feet high. The weight of these ice walls are so enormous that they have literally pressed the land 2/3 of a mile or 1 kilometer down into the earth. Under the massive forces of their own weight, the ice walls deform and drag themselves outward. Very large glaciers called ice streams flow through them, continually transporting ice from deep inland out to sea. Temperatures are thought to approach absolute zero the further one explores outwards. Exploration. What the heck is absolute zero? Hey Google, what is absolute zero? Hey Google, what is absolute zero temperature? What the hell? See, this is what I mean. Like, they're not. This is how people just don't look up stuff. Absolute temperature at which a thermodynamic system has the lowest energy. It corresponds to negative 273 degrees Celsius and to negative 459.67 degrees Fahrenheit temperature scale. Oh my God. What is a simple definition of absolute zero? Definition of absolute zero? A theoretical temperature characterized by complete absence of heat and motion, and equivalent to exactly, well, that's messed up, 273.15 degrees Celsius. There's no fluctuation in absolute zero. Because there's zero heat, it stays at the exact temperature of 273.15 Celsius. That's really messed up. Absolute zero represents the coldest possible temperature, which defies this versus that pattern. Like it says here, we tend to think of a cup of hot and cold as relative things. A cup of hour-old tea, for example, is colder than the fire on your stove, but hotter than an ice cube. You know, this or that. Absolute zero is just frozen. But somehow the ice wall in Antarctica goes on for thousands and thousands of miles. And they can't and it's at a temperature of absolute zero, which I thought they said that was only in space. Like let's see here. Like I guarantee you, space is not what you think it is. What is the temperature in space? Oh man, it says it's absolute zero. The baseline temperature of outer space, as set by the background radiation from the Big Bang, is 2.7 kelvins or negative 270 degrees. How fast would you freeze in space? 90 seconds after exposure, you'll die from asphyxiation. It's also very cold in space. You'll eventually freeze solid. Depending on where you are in space, this will take 12 to 26 hours. But if you're closer to a star, you'll be burnt to a crisp instead. Okay, so I got a question for you. If space is so cold, how is a star able to exist? Are, are gases trapped clouds in a freezing cold environment? Is that what a star is? Huh. Stars form inside relatively dense concentrations of interstellar gas and dust known as molecular clouds. These regions are extremely cold. I would guess. I get that's how they're so. Like I use the same tech in my ice water bucket extractions. Do stars form in cold gas clouds? Stars formation. Stars from inside relatively dense concentrations of interstellar gas and dust known as molecular clouds. These regions are extremely cold. Temperature about 10 to 20 K, just above absolute zero. I don't know. I thought nothing was colder than absolute zero. What is the coldest temperature in the world? The lowest natural it's on Earth is negative 90 at the Soviet station in Antarctica on July 21st, 1983. Vostok station. I want to go there. Holy, what is the coldest place right now on Earth? With the coldest place on Earth in 11 of 15 places is in Canada. I shit you not. With 11 of 15 spots going to Canadian regions, there's certainly no signs of a mild fall season in the territories. Taking the prize as coldest place on Earth right now is the South Pole in Antarctica, where temperatures are currently sitting at negative 38. So it sits here at negative 38 all the time. Maybe not as long as the South Pole. What is the coldest temperature a human can survive? What? Whoever wrote this is an idiot. That's not true. What is the coldest temperature a human can survive? Below 70 degrees Fahrenheit? Or 21 degrees Celsius. Like, get out of here. Probably sleep naked in -5 or 10 for 16 hours and I'd still be okay. What's the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth? 134 degrees, 56.7 degrees in Celsius. Oh no, highest temperature on record belongs to California's Death Valley. In 1913, reached a temperature of 134 degrees or 56.7 degrees Celsius. Oh no. Yeah, it's Death Valley. It says a couple different places. What are the highest and lowest temperatures on Earth? Oh no, it says the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth was 136 degrees or 58 degrees Celsius in the Libyan desert. The coldest temperature ever measured was -126 or -88 in Vostok Station in Antarctica. Wow. I wish it said the year that the Libyan desert was the hottest. I'd like to know if it's like recent or was it 100 years ago. It makes sense, like every 100 years they're doing these droughts to us, eh? See, everybody just constantly obeyed and now we're all screwed. Quickly do one more quick one here for you. Spur your minds, get your minds thinking here. That's gonna, oh yeah, I wanna find this one guy. I'm pretty sure I screenshotted some pictures of this here. They might be on the other phone. Just some creepy people out there with businesses, man. Yep, I found it. Okay, let's see here. Damn it, I don't think this was the one. No, I did, I found it. Yes. Okay, so I'll be able to find the guy's name here. Russia claims info being withheld about Antarctica by world governments. Why would Russia say, why, like, this is what I mean. Look at how North American media lies, right? Just look at it. We know it happens. Don't deny it. It's happening. What are the world North American news agencies? not telling us about Antarctica? How come all the footage from the President Obama and William and Harry, how come those Antarctic expeditions, how come they didn't live stream them for the world to see? Because they don't, that's private knowledge. It's not public knowledge. Public knowledge is very small and rarely contains anything that is jaw dropping or revolutionary. But the private industry is an industry that is designed, like, I'll give you an example. I'll explain what the private sector is. Research and development. It's science. It's medicine. It's that is what the private sector is. The public sector is like your landfill. You know, there is nothing cool or informationally like you want to learn about it. But the private sector has so much that they don't want. It's private for a reason. Knowledge is power, and the smarter you are, the less likely you are to rely on someone else. So their biggest plan was to make you reliant on them, dumb you down, make you not the opposite of self-reliant, make you like live off of them, right? I'm telling you, like the jobs we do every day, for 1 week, if you stopped, they would lose all power overnight. We could stand up and flip the chessboard off our backs. It's very important people recognize what's happening. Like the information you have available to you is not, you wonder why these people stay so rich and get richer. All their analytical data you can never access. Do you know where corporations get their information from? From the private sector. So they collect data on you that they can buy from other entities to use to their advantage in business. Don't you think it's important to know if your competition is running low on, you know, whatever supply they have, so you could buy up this year's amount of whatever textile industry it is, so you could buy up your nation's, your continent's availability, so that anyone else who wants any textile will have to order it from China themselves, right? You've just bought up a year's supply of manufacturing, shipping. Like you've already you've used it all up. You know what I mean? There's only so many ships that can go back and forth, and you've loaded them full with things you need. But you've already stockpiled and you've already ordered it. You know. So your next available shipping date is in 6 or 8 months. If you think this isn't what's happened this minute, look up any. You won't be able to get any computers that are as fast as what Asia has for 6 months a year. Do you remember the old way back in the 90s and 80s? Europe had all the new advancements in technology. Always Europe was first. How do you think this happens? You get losers here in government that have no clue. Like literally a grade 4 school teacher ends up being our Minister of Health here in Canada. That is sick, you know? We've got some of the worst people. Maybe not now, they all left, but some of them are still left, and we can still hold some of them accountable. But watch as Canada doesn't, you know? You're going to worry so much about the football games, the soccer and the hockey games. The year's not over. The government can still screw us over again, you know? Like, I have family that came from government, highest levels of government in Canada throughout, you know, the last 40 years. And they were gentlemen, they were scholars, they were helpful. And they have a clean track record. It's not, oh, they're just that good, they didn't get caught. No, like they were raised properly, you know? Gentlemen, I said it in the beginning. Now you have these corporate scum working from some dude with an accent and absolute greasy agenda, you know? Look around you.
They claim all this science BS for how many years now? And look at their science. It failed. But it was supposed to be for 2.5 years, trust the science. Meanwhile, everyone is like, I'm not taking that. And it didn't do anything. So what's in your body right now? But that was, again, they were pushing an agenda. But don't take my word for it. Just watch as another 50% of humanity just drops off the face of the earth 30 years faster than they normally would have. It's happening everywhere. Like, every family has someone that's dying and is only 50. This is not like, coincidence. What's up, my homie? Trey landing in the house. It says, does Hashi need 16 hours of sleep? No, I didn't get any sleep hardly at all. But I do try to get some rest once in a while. But it doesn't work as good as I'd like. I stay up so late. But that's scary. Russia claims info being withheld about Antarctica by world governments. Come on! What's really going on, bud? Yeah, so this story is called The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall. Like, can you get any cooler than that? So his name was William Morris. So I believe there's a strait called the William Morris Strait. It's called the W. Morris Strait. Barrington / William Morris Strait. So let's look up Barrington William Morris Strait. And it says it's through. So let's look this up here quickly. W. Morris Strait. What is W. Morris Strait, Manitoba? It's like they're trying to use strange cloud tech all over. William Morris Strait ice wall. The navigator who crossed the ice walls. Worlds beyond the Antarctica. Area nos confunden. Terra infinita. The lands of Mars, 178 worlds under the Great Dome. I want this book. The One World Tartarians. Yeah, how come they don't show Antarctica from space? You know, that is so. Is there a secret ice wall hidden? But how come they won't show Antarctica from space? Why do they hide images? Frank Morris was considered highly intelligent by federal officials with an IQ of 133. He was born in Washington and orphaned at the age of 11. That's so sad. He had to use his mind to survive, and they studied him. Frank Morris, CIA, studied LSD lies and the CIA, the incredible true story behind Wormwood. And this is Vanity Fair magazine. Everything you need to know about Errol Morris's gripping Netflix true crime series, which investigates the strange saga of scientist Frank Olsen's death. Well, that's funny. Olsen is Icelandic. And there's only 200,000 of us in the world. In the early morning of November 28, 1953, 42-year-old, that's how old I am, Army scientist Frank Olsen went out the window of a room in a New York City's Statler Hotel. Was it an accident or an assassination? Nice. By the way, I'm saying nice that I found some old men's names to remember how evil they are. William Morris, from a photograph made in 1876 away along the ice. Greta got angry, the rat deeming. William Morris, from a photograph made in 1876. So, like when they say made, that's doctored, right? Created by hand, not an actual picture taken by a non-partisan item, a non-judgmental, unbiased. Has any group gone to investigate the ice wall of the flat Earth model? Has anyone gone to investigate the ice wall of the flat Earth model? No need. Satellite photos would reveal it if it existed. It doesn't. So how does flat Earth exist? That's awesome. That's awesome. You can be that naive. There is no flat Earth model that is consistent between claims. If you look at permission is needed to travel below negative. This is the proper answer. You have to have permission to go to Antarctica. Did you know that? Permission is needed to travel below 60 latitude if research is to be done. Oh, come on.
It pretty much must be done by some accredited university or established company. So let me explain. Accredited, meaning you've been handed money by them to lie, period. Or a company. Think about it. Corporations. And they can get away with anything. Look up Pfizer's lawsuits. Not now, but from 5 or 10 years ago. Can some flat earth believers show me some real pictures of the ice wall that supposedly keeps the oceans from spilling over the other sides? Buddy, did you... I'll show you some pictures right now. They're all over. All you do is watch sports all day, and then you probably beat your little meat, brah. Here is some actual pictures of the ice wall. The ice wall is a natural formation, a thick mass of floating ice. The ice wall surrounds 95% of the Antarctic coast. This isn't a joke. It's right there. There it is, bud. There is no formation like that in the world that exists. Nothing. Anywhere on planet Earth. Except right there. Oh yeah, it's the most interesting place on Earth. And they won't show us anything about it. But whatever you do, don't be concerned. Whatever you do, don't have your own thoughts on it. Isn't there a football game for you to go watch right now and drool over yourself? So it says here, Sir James Clark Ross and his expeditionary fleet sailed around the ice wall for a number of months in circumnavigation between pit stops at the Cape of Good Hope, which is a very, very, I'm 42. I've heard of that since I was 15, at least. At the Cape of Good Hope in his polar expeditions, he spent the next several years of his life circumnavigating the southern coast, vainly in search of a South Sea passage to the other side. Beyond the 150-foot ice wall is anyone's guess how far the ice extends. So nobody knows. This person that went is the only person that has any information that's recent. And he spent years there by accredited universities and companies, and the Queen of England herself sent Sir James Clark. And here's his info. This is what he's sharing with us. It's right there in front of you, but you're too stupid to read it. So it says here, beyond the 150-foot ice wall is anyone's guess how far the ice extends, how it terminates, and what exists beyond it. So do you know what that means? This means there's fucking something we don't know that exists beyond it, bud. Wake up. And it says here, beyond the ice wall is anyone's guess. How far the ice extends, how it terminates, and what exists beyond it are questions to which no present human experience can reply. But remember, they're sending ships to space, but they haven't gone to check out Antarctica. I call bullshit. I call bullshit really fast. Really quick, I call bullshit. I thought there was satellites that could see what's over there. I thought we had the entire Earth mapped. This right here just states that we don't know what's on the other side of the fucking ice wall. And this is a paid expedition for years. But that's awesome. You still think you know everything. That's awesome. So it says here, someone was paid to go expeditioning. And it says, beyond the 150-foot ice wall is anyone's guess how far the ice extends, how it terminates, and what exists beyond it are questions to which no present human experience can reply. All we at present know is that snow and hail, howling winds, and indescribable storms and hurricanes prevail, and that in every direction ingress is barred by unsealed escarpments of perpetual ice, extending farther than the eye or telescope can penetrate, and becoming lost in gloom and darkness. Some hold that the tundra of ice and snow stretches forever, eternally. Like, that's pretty messed up. And this is by scientists. The ice wall is a natural formation. Yeah, right. A thick mass of floating ice that is attached to land, formed from and fed by tongues of glaciers extending outward from deep within the uncharted tundra into sheltered waters. How could they know that there are sheltered waters if they just finished saying in the other one that there was full of tsunamis and hailstorms and the most indescribable storms in the world are over there? Wouldn't that be like a good way to keep people out? Is to make it really cold and then constantly stormy? But wait a second. Can't we make weather? Isn't HARP real? Weren't we told in the 90s that all people who think anything about HARP is all conspiracy theories? Now in 2022, HARP is completely real. Rainmakers are real. It's like every 20 years, the oldest people that thought they were right and knew everything shut their mouth completely, and they're like, well, geez, I can't believe that is all true. Wow. It's like, because look at how you spent your life. You watched a football game for 70 years. Now look at you. You think CNN is your major export of realness, Pathetic, man. Pathetic. So there you have another banger from the hash, man. Again, the ice wall and everything is fake, Just keep on living your life. Do you guys remember when the Red Bull astronaut went and jumped out of a balloon? It was like an orb being lifted up into the sky by a balloon. What's up with that? Do you remember when the astronaut jumped out of the Red Bull thing, and he jumped and he skydived? Watch how fast the guy falls out of the air. And then go watch them drop a space launch. Watch a space rocket take off. And watch them discard the rocket fuel chamber off of it. And watch that 29-ton rocket fuel chamber float, dilly-dally back down to Earth really slowly. And then go watch the skydiver again that weighs 175 pounds. Watch him jump out of that fucking orbiter thing. And watch him just plummet through the air. And do you know what you're looking at? Density. That fuel cell that rocket discharged is not what you think it is. Do you know what a Zeppelin is? And you got to go look at it and see it and understand. If you're smart enough to know what the concept of density is, then you will understand what I am not saying, but I'm telling you to go research for yourself. It'll take you 10 seconds. Go watch the Red Bull guy jump out of a thing from the top of the circle curved Earth. It looks like that's with a fisheye lens. Let's be specific. They got caught. It's very well known. That's filmed with a fisheye lens. Do you know what a fisheye is? Do you? It's a circular lens. I'll see you next time. And remember, they're lying to us to keep you dumb, right? It's you have a choice. You can either believe and obey, or you can wake up and see through. Something just doesn't make sense here. Something absolutely doesn't make sense. The oldest men in power start wars for the youngest people to go fight every 4 years. Every couple years, a country sends off their children to war. And this is an advancement? We're supposed to be smarter than we were in 1998 when George Bush was writing the Declaration of Independence in fucking red crayon? No, bro. We're getting dumber. Stop allowing them to control you. They work for us. If they won't, get rid of them. Fucking we'll hire someone that will, bruh.